This story is pretty stunning. Coming out of Tufts University School of Arts and Sciences, in conjunction with the Harvard Business School, whites believe that they have replaced blacks as the primary victim of racial discrimination in contemporary America. This, according to that new study out of Tufts. They asked a nationwide sample of 208 blacks and 209 whites to indicate the extent to which they felt blacks and whites were the targets of discrimination in each decade from the 1950s to the 2000s. A scale of 1 to 10 was used, with 1 being not at all and 10 being very much. White and black estimates of bias in the 1950s were similar. Respondents also generally agreed that racism against blacks has decreased over time, although whites believe it has declined faster than blacks do. Well, I mean, that's to be expected. Honestly, on some level, that's to be expected. To be able to calibrate that as a white person, you're never going to be as sensitive to how much racism is in play as a black person does, because you're not subjected to it on a daily basis. You're not subjected to it. Period. So in any situation where you have to empathize with someone, you can never really fully appreciate how that impacts their lives. You can come close. So the notion that the disparity of how much racism has decreased, that doesn't surprise me that much. However, whites believe that racism against whites has increased significantly as racism against blacks has decreased. So that means that these white people must feel they are the objects of racism, which is a wholly different phenomenon. On average, whites rated anti-white bias as more prevalent in the 2000s than anti-black bias by more than a full point on the 10-point scale. In other words, so not only do whites in this study think that they are being subjected to racism, they think they're being subjected to racism more than blacks are today. Moreover, some 11% of whites gave anti-white bias the maximum rating of 10, compared to only 2% of whites who rated anti-black bias a 10. You know what the subtitle of this study could be? Whites are the biggest bunch of whiny-ass TD babies. This is just stunning. How completely divorced from reality do you have to be? And the irony is, of course, is that this story this study was taken. It was at least performed by researchers in Boston. And in a moment, I'll talk about that TSA story coming out of Boston, where Boston TSA security personnel have been targeting blacks and Hispanics so much so that that 30 other of their fellow TSA guards or security personnel have been saying, like, there's a problem here. Just stunning. And of course, you understand that playing on this notion that whites feel that they are more a target of racism than black people. This is what is known as the Republican electoral strategy. It is why you will see these ads about welfare giveaways and Obama being angry and hateful. It is because it plays in to this notion that many whites apparently have, that they are an oppressed majority. because they're white. Just, I don't know. I don't even know what the word for it is. Ridiculous? Sickening? I don't know.